I'm trying to feel like how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling so joyful. And
Oh,
I seriously wanted to, I was thinking, okay, what comes to my mind? I try to feel how I'm feeling when I'm about to introduce whoever our guest is today. And that's the word that comes to my mind, joyful.
oh,
She's a best-selling author, a performer, a producer, a promoter, and a talk show host. We're going to get right into it with Vicki Ableson.
hi, David. What a lovely introduction.
Oh,
I think I
well,
was talking through half of it.
oh, oh, no, it adds to the sound effects of your voice.
Oh God. Oh yes, because they're so what is it? Mellifluous? What's that word?
Not maleficent.
No, no.
Mellifluous? No, I'm
That.
like,
And now I hear my phone that I took off the hook going, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." It'll stop in a minute, but I don't want it to bother. It's yeah, annoying sounds.
listen, mine talks to me too, and even when it's not on.
I
So
know. I
you
know how that goes.
you do all these things, and I have to say the first time I met you, I believe, is when I came to your house with Roz.
That's correct. That is correct. That was wonderful.
It was such a joy, and to see you in action of how you interview people, and you just like take them in like you're best friends, and then you're women who write. It's like amazing. What out of all the stuff you do? I mean, we listed at the beginning. Do you have a favorite thing?
You know, David, that's a really good and difficult question because I love everything that I do, and that wasn't always true.
Yeah.
But well, it's been true for a long time, and actually, it's been true forever because whatever I'm doing, I acclimate to and I find the joy. I love your cup, and it matches almost my shirt.
I
Um,
thought that
I,
too.
I love that cup. And I used to have a cup like that one of the women who I gave me, and it broke, and I have never been able to replace it. So you have to tell me where you got it. I
I
love
got this from Performing Arts Studio West. When we had one of our shows, we had all these cups and they were selling cups, and they had a red one, this one, and then they also have a white one with a red heart. So I,
it.
I just bought those two cups.
I love them. I love it. So anyway, what I do, Women Who Write, which by the way, I am in mourning because I have not been able to do it in my living room since the pandemic, obviously. For those of you who don't know, 50, 60 women in my living room and a few good men. And we put on a show in my living room, and everybody is packed tight like sardines, chair after chair after chair, and we eat lunch together and we schmooze afterwards. And it's the most fantastic thing. It's the culmination of everything I do because I write for it, I produce, I perform, I book it, I do the publicity. So it's kind of, as I said, the culmination of everything that I do. And the last few years, we've been able to take it live on Facebook. So we've had this huge audience, live audience, in addition to the people in the living room, which was enormous, which I'm going to get to my beef about that. But anyway, so I love that. But then I have Game Changers, which is my one-on-one with people. And that is where I really take a back seat to the other. And it's all about finding out about the other person. And it's a conversation. So I never prepare questions in advance. It's completely on the fly. It's the way I would talk to anybody that I met and many of the people I interview, I'm blessed that they're friends of mine now. So I do know them somewhat, right? But the first time I interviewed Rosie, I did not know her. I did not know her. Anson Williams instigated and said, "You two would be great friends," and he was right. She's perfect, wonderful. But sometimes, I have a natural curiosity about people.
Hmm.
And so I ask the questions that I want to know the answers to. So I'm not asking all that boring stuff, I'm asking what I want to know. And so as a result, the conversations are usually pretty provocative and stimulating and fun and warm and, all of those things that we have when we're talking to somebody that we admire and we like and we want to know better. And so I love doing that. And then I'm a writer, and
I
you
mean,
know, I wrote.
yeah, your book, I mean, Don't Jump, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, dot, 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 and my fucking mother.
That's my book. And Carl Reiner's company published it. I was the only non-family member that he published, and I got to do the audiobook. Today is Mel Brooks' birthday, and I got to do the audiobook in Carl Reiner's pool house while he and Mel were sitting watching TV and eating dinner. So occasionally I would get to walk through the house and see them and chat with them a little.
Say hi, Mel. Hi, Carl.
I mean, it was a riot. And but anyway, so I love writing, and I mostly now do my writing on Facebook. And and I have a screenplay that's unfinished. I have things to get that I need to get to, but I love writing, and I love all of these things. So I love interviewing, and then I love hosting and welcoming and putting on shows. I was a rock and roll promoter in the 80s, so I've been doing that for years. So all of it, I'm very blessed.
What, I mean, we have over 100 students watching from Performing Arts Studio West. We have Meet the Biz, and then YouTube Land.
Right.
So somebody who has the itch to pick up that pen, that magic wand, as Janet Gallen would say, and just start writing or create their own show or something like you do. How would you? What's that first step?
You know, that's a great question, David, especially in the pandemic, because for two things. First of all, the secret to writing is writing. I learned that when I took Writers Boot Camp. And they said, we will get you to write a whole screenplay in 6 weeks. You come in with a premise line, and you're just going to have to write a lot of hours a day. And I started doing that many, many years ago, 24 years ago. But then I started doing morning pages, which is The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron. And I don't do it perfectly. I don't do it as she suggests. I write a minimum of 5 minutes a day, every single day. And I've been doing that for over 7,000 days.
Wow.
And the thing that keeps me writing is that I force myself to check in with someone every single day. I send an email, I did my writing today, and I tell her how long I've written. Some days it's 5 minutes, some days it's 20, some days it's 3 hours, some day, as long as I honor my 5 minutes, it keeps me writing. And if I keep writing, I never run into a wall. I never get blocked because I'm used. And all it is it's stream of consciousness. It's whatever comes into my brain. It's best to do it first thing in the morning. I often do my morning pages at 1 a.m. the next night, But today I did my morning pages
Right.
And in the morning, and it serves me better when I do it that way.
Yeah.
And then as far as how do you start your own thing, Women Who Write was a product. I wanted to showcase my book into a play, and I didn't know how to get stage time. I had just moved from New York to LA. Even if I would have gotten 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there,
Yeah.
my book was 325 pages, however many pages. So my editor suggested that I start something for the local mommies, and I read a few pages from my book each month and then invite other people to read with me. And I was blessed that I knew a few celebrities. So I started inviting them to read with me. And then after just a few months, Carol Leifer asked me if she could bring her friend Marlee Matlin. And Marlee Matlin is an Academy Award-winning actress who is deaf and has an interpreter. And she came, and from that month on, every month I had superstars, every single month. And then Lori Lieberman, who wrote the lyrics to Killing Me Softly, which has sold literally, I think, more like billions of copies. She wrote the lyric that inspired it. She asked me if she could come. And she said, can I just come and read poetry? And I said, no, you have to come sing.
Yeah.
And so once she came and sang, I started having music every month. So from nothing, I created what became 12 and a half years ago, one of the most successful literary salons in the world that it's not successful. I'm not making the kind of money that you guys are making acting out there but it's successful in that most writers know about it. And I really am able to get, I've had Carl Reiner and and Norman Lear and Gary Marshall and Cloris Leachman and crazy people come. These names don't mean anything to your young students. I'm trying to think of who might know.
They should.
Josh Sussman. He's on
Yeah,
Nickelodeon.
Josh
Okay.
came to, he did a class for Meet the Biz.
So Josh Sussman has done my thing. I've had a lot of varied and wonderful performers, Rozzy for one.
Right.
And but in any case, the other thing that I also started from nothing was when the pandemic started. I live alone now. My son had I just empty nested. My son had just moved out at 26, and I was living alone in this house. It once housed my husband, my two kids, and then my husband and I split up, and then my daughter went away to college, and my son moved out, and now it's just me, and I'm alone, and I can't go anywhere. It's lockdown. So I started going live, and at first it was just on a whim. I started shooting the shit with Vicki, and it was basically to keep myself. So it forced me to put on makeup and do my hair and get dressed.
Yeah.
And then I did it 7 days a week for months and months and months. And I started having these regulars we called ourselves the COVID crazies.
Well, you were like therapy for so many people.
Well, we were each other's company.
Yeah.
And it gave us purpose. We spent July 4th together. We spent Thanksgiving together. We spent Christmas. We did all the holidays together. Memorial Day, that we'd have barbecues on Zoom, and it just kept us all from going crazy. And so as things opened up, I went from 7 days a week to then 5 days a week. And I did that for a very long time. I wasn't making any money. It was just to be of service. It was important. Then soon after, I was able to start doing interviews again on Zoom, because I used to do my interview show at my home or at the celebrity's home. Started doing those on Zoom. So I went from 7 to 5 to 3. I'm now down to 2 shows a week, because now everybody's back to living. They don't need me.
They don't need to shoot this shit.
They don't need to do that every day.
They want to do it in person now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, and I'm having lunch with one of the women that was at every single one of my Women Who Write for about 10 years. She was at every one, and we're having lunch. I haven't seen her in a year and a half. It's thrilling.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I saw your list. I looked at this list of yours that went on and on and on, of all the people that you've had either interviewed on your show or at the book reading at your house. When I say, what was the exact thing that I wrote here? When I said, when I say Vicki Abelson's Women Who Write, what is the first name or face that comes to your mind?
I'm going to get sentimental now, but I think of Carl Reiner, because for those of you who don't know, Carl Reiner created a television show called Dick Van Dyke, which was a game changer in live television. Dick Van Dyke was the star. Some of you kids might know him from Mary Poppins. He's the original chimney sweep. And anyway, Carl was my first huge get. It was the first time I felt like I could charge money for people. It used to be that it cost me money to have my salon. I would have 50 people and I would give them swag each month, thanks to Rick Smolke of Quick Impressions. He would send me pads and calendars and things to give away. My kids and my husband and I would go get chairs from the local church to have enough chairs in the house. And I would serve things, and it was costing me money. And with Carl, it was such an enormous thing. Carl then started doing a lot of publicity after it, but his first book, his first memoir, wasn't even finished. And he came with pieces of paper and gave out to everyone pages from his book.
Right.
And he read to us. And it was the only show I've ever done that didn't open with music, and there was no one else on the bill. He wanted to do it alone. And he talked for over 2 hours with us, and to screaming standing ovations. And for everyone of our generation, it was a thrill beyond. Carl Reiner also, though some of you kids might know Steve Martin, and he wrote and directed a bunch of Steve Martin movies, and The Jerk for one. And Carl did amazing things in his life and is an amazing man. And so my father had passed away um, before Carl came. And the morning that Carl was coming, I heard an owl out my window, and I knew it was my father. I knew it was the thing that would have made my father so proud that this was happening. And Carl then went on to write in his 90s about 7 books at least. But this was the first of them. And he just passed away last year at I think 99 or something. But that was a get. And then getting Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. I was for those of you who don't know, okay, they had a song in Shrek. What's the one that they had in Shrek? I'm a Believer. Was that the one in Shrek?
I think so.
Maybe. So that's Mickey Dolenz' song. So that guy who, they were a band when I was a little girl, young girl, that we would scream.
Hey, with the Monkees.
They had a TV show and they had albums, and they were adorable. And so getting Mickey in my living room was pretty exciting.
Oh my gosh. That's, and I see these names, and again, I've been to your living room a couple of times, and I was one of the questions I was going to ask, and of course we still don't know yet, but I was going, when are you going to do it again? Because it's such a loving feeling. You could come in there and the door opens, and the excitement, and not just excitement, it's this love and just no bullshit, just being friends, hanging out kind of feel.
That's why, David, I started it with everybody bringing food. It's a potluck. So I don't cater it and charge for that. I have everybody bring something, because what that does is that makes everyone in the room a contributor to all of our good time. Everybody is contributing something, whether it be their talent or their food or whatever. So, and then we eat first. And when you eat with someone and you get food stuck in your teeth, or you get your lipstick smeared or something fun,
you break bread.
It creates an intimacy and a closeness and a sense of fun that you don't get if when you go to a movie and everybody's just sitting, and it's harder to network. But when everybody's eating and standing at the table and getting food, people talk more and get to know each other. And it's an opportunity to welcome new people. And so the vibe is there's no pretension. We talk back. The entertainer sings, we sing along. We sang along with Bob Calsill. That particular video, he was opening for Ed Asner. And as a matter of fact, James Morrison from 24, who's a huge actor celebrity in his own right, he opened the show. Then Bob Calsill, which was another band when I was a little girl that, oh my God, they were my gods. The Calsills.
I have an album.
Still. Yeah. The Rain in the Park and other things. I mean, they were so Bob did this set, which now has over 120,000 hits on YouTube, which is my biggest success on YouTube. But just crazy things. So the fact that you get to sit amongst your heroes, and then Ed Asner, for those of you who have ever seen Elf, he's Santa. Santa was in my house. And so I got to sit on Santa's lap and take a picture, and everybody takes a picture with everybody. And, it's just this intimate, lovely, warm, fun. We sing along with everybody. So it's really lovely.
Well, it's interesting how it's morphed into this moment, because right now I'm going to bring on some of our family here. Nice. And we're gonna just hang out and have a loving meet the biz kind of visit with you.
I love that.